Imagine living in a world where human lives were treated like property, where families could be separated overnight, and where some people made enormous profits by controlling the lives of others. In the early history of the United States, one woman became infamous for doing exactly that. Her name was Mary Ann Cotton, but unlike many others in her time, she became known for something particularly disturbing. She built wealth by forcing enslaved people to reproduce, treating human lives as a business strategy. Historians later described her actions as part of a brutal system sometimes referred to as slave breeding. It's one of the darkest chapters in American history. So who was this woman? How did this system work? And how did a society allow such a disturbing practice to exist? To understand that story, we need to go back to the early days of slavery in the United States. During the 18th and early 19th centuries, slavery was deeply embedded in parts of the American economy. Enslaved people were forced to work on farms, plantations, and in households across the southern United States. They were legally treated as property under laws that denied them basic human rights. One key moment in this system came after the act prohibiting importation of slaves. In 1807, the United States banned the international slave trade. This meant enslaved people could no longer be legally imported from Africa. But the demand for enslaved labor remained extremely high. Plantations still needed workers, and slave traders still wanted profits. So the system adapted in a disturbing way. Instead of importing enslaved people, some slaveholders began focusing on forced reproduction within the United States. This practice created what historians call the domestic slave trade. In this system, enslaved people were bought, sold, and transported across the country. Children born into slavery automatically became the property of slaveholders. For some plantation owners, this meant reproduction itself became a financial strategy. One woman often associated with this system was Mary Ann Cotton. Historical accounts describe how she and others in similar positions treated enslaved families as assets that could grow in value. Children born into slavery could later be sold or forced to work on plantations. This meant that the birth of a child was sometimes viewed not as a family event, but as an increase in property. It was a cruel and dehumanizing reality. In the slave economy, people were often evaluated in financial terms: age, physical strength, health, even the potential to have children. Enslaved women were frequently subjected to extreme control over their personal lives. Families were separated, children were sold away from parents, and individuals had no legal power to resist these decisions. The system was designed to maximize profits for slaveholders while denying basic humanity to enslaved people. This reality has been documented by historians studying plantation records, letters, and slave narratives from the time. These records reveal the painful truth. As plantations expanded westward during the 19th century, the demand for enslaved labor increased dramatically. Millions of enslaved people were forcibly moved through what historians call the domestic slave trade in the United States. Families were separated and transported hundreds of miles. Many lived in constant fear of being sold. This system generated enormous profits for traders, but it also caused immense human suffering that lasted generations. By the mid-1800s, debates over slavery were tearing the country apart. The conflict over slavery eventually led to the American Civil War, which began in 1861. After 4 years of brutal conflict, the war ended in 1865. That same year, the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution officially abolished slavery in the United States. Millions of formerly enslaved people were finally declared free under the law. But the legacy of slavery did not disappear overnight. Its consequences continued shaping American society for generations. Today, historians continue studying these events to better understand how such systems developed and how they were dismantled. Stories like this are difficult to hear, but they are also important to understand. They remind us how economic systems and social attitudes can allow injustice to exist. They also show how people resisted. Learning about these chapters helps societies recognize past mistakes and work toward a more just future. And it reminds us that the value of human life can never be measured in profit. History is filled with stories that challenge us to reflect on the past. Some are inspiring, others are deeply troubling. But every story helps us understand how the world we live in today was shaped. If you found this video informative and want to explore more powerful stories, Make sure to like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, which historical stories should we explore next? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.